Welcome to Iconic Movie Reviews. My name is Shane, and today I'm going to be reviewing a very iconic movie, and that is Unbreakable. So Unbreakable came out in 2000, directed by M Knight Shayamalan, starring Bruce Willis and Robin Wright. And when this movie came out, there is nothing else like it in theaters. I'm telling you, the cinematography was fantastic. The score was great by James Newton Howard. He did such a good job on this movie. And the direction by M Night Shayamalan in this movie, he just set a new benchmark. He did really well with Sixth Sense, and I love that movie. But once you know what the twist is at the end of the movie, there's only so many times you can watch that movie. But with Unbreakable, like, it's 18 years later, and it's still a great movie. And now that they are making Glass, and that's coming out in 2019, I think everyone should watch Unbreakable first, then watch Split, and then get ready for Glass. Because when we saw Split, I had no idea that David Dunn was going to be in this movie at the end of the movie. I love that. And when I was walking out of the theater, I'm like, what does that mean? What is this, just a cameo? What is this? Some kind of a crossover thing? What's going on? And now that I found out that there's actually a movie called Glass and all three are in it, it's actually amazing. So let's go to the end. At the end of the movie, you actually see the last shot is David Dunn walking away from Glass when Glass reveals that he is the arch villain. But when it fades to black, it actually shows what happens to our characters. And one of the things that happens to Glass, of course, is he gets arrested for all the crimes that he committed by setting up all these terrorist acts, like the train accident, plane crashes, all kinds of stuff. That was him. He orchestrated that whole thing. But at the end, it says that they actually sent him to an insane asylum for the rest of his life, for a very long time. So it kind of looks like it's the same facility where he got sent to at the end of Unbreakable, which is awesome. I love it when they tie movies together. I can't wait to see the three actors together. You got Bruce Willis, you got Samuel L. Jackson. Are you kidding me? In the same movie again together? And then also James McAvoy. Like, it's almost like having 30 characters in one. Like, Split was unbelievable. I need to do a review of Split after this. But again, like, every time I watch this movie, it's great. The opening is awesome because all you see is a little snapshot of David Dunn in a train. And it's funny because in the trailer, I remember showing him on a bench in a hospital on a bed, and everybody's kind of looking at him and stuff. And you see this huge train wreck. I thought maybe they're going to show some of that, but it actually didn't matter. First scene, we actually see Glass being born. And it's actually a very moving scene because the baby's crying and the mother's coddling the baby and saying, you know, like, should he be crying this much? And it kind of reminded me when my daughter, my youngest daughter, was born. She was crying like crazy and trying to get a breath and all that kind of stuff. And I remember running to the nurses, trying to get a second, third opinion because she wasn't breathing, and they're like, it's okay. Turns out she wasn't okay. They rushed her to emergency, but I persisted to getting another nurse. I ran down the hall, grabbed someone, and said, you got to take another look at my daughter. So when I saw this scene, it kind of reminded me of that, how a parent would feel. And the doctor took the baby from the mother and is looking at the baby and going, what happened to this baby? And everybody's like, nothing happened. How dare you accuse us of something? And he's like, this child has multiple bone fractures. It's got broken arms and legs. What happened? So that is the opening for Glass's character. We see two opposites. Dunn survives a train wreck, and Glass, man, he can't even walk down the stairs without falling. Speaking of falling, that one scene where he stumbles down the stairs, that has to be the most painful scene to watch because he is breaking almost every dang bone as he's falling down the stairs. Unbelievable. Love that scene. There's so many things I could talk about. I can go on and on about this movie. But what I like to do is I like to just share two scenes that were very powerful to me. One was the weightlifting scene. I love that. And I'll tell you why in a second. But when Bruce Willis was lifting all that weight, David Dunn, and his son is watching him, Joseph, every time Bruce Willis would lift a little bit heavier, his son would move away a little bit further towards the stairs. And it got to the point that David Dunn would say to his son, okay, what are you supposed to do now? Because he's got this massive weight. It's like, and his son was like, I'm going to tell mom, I'm going to go get mom if something happens. Okay, got it. And then he'd lift this weight and it was like 350 pounds. And his kid was in awe. There was another scene because his kid just wanted him to be a superhero so bad. That the kid actually, at the kitchen table scene, do you remember that? Where the parents are talking back and forth in the kitchen. All of a sudden, David Dunn looks down and sees his son sitting at the kitchen table. And lo and behold, he's holding a gun. And then he pulls that gun out and points it right at his dad and says, I want to prove to you that you are basically a superhero. And Bruce Willis's character, David, says, you put that gun down. If you shoot me, I'm going to New York. I'm leaving. It will bounce off of me, but if it bounces off, I'm leaving. So it was so tense. You could just cut it with a knife. And the kid, you could see the stress on his face, like he was seconds away from pulling the trigger. And finally, David talks him out of pulling the trigger, and the whole family collapses really in the kitchen floor. That was powerful. And the last thing that I want to talk about is the ending. And again, this is a spoiler. Hopefully you know that already. But at the end, when David Dunn shows up at the house following the guy in the orange suit and finds these two kids in a closet tied up, he releases them and then goes upstairs and finds the mother tied up to a radiator, and he's looking for the bad guy to see where he is and goes out to the balcony. And with the curtains blowing and everything, you can't really see what's going on, and then all of a sudden you can see orange. And the bad guy shoves Bruce Willis into the pool. And I love the idea that when he was actually tumbling over, you could see him rolling end over end. You could see bad guy pool, and he fell right on the tarp flat. We don't know this, but he actually fell on top of a pool with a tarp. And then that tarp begins to envelope him, and because he's afraid of water, can't swim, all this kind of stuff, water is like his kryptonite, and he almost drowns. But the kids that he released actually helped save him. So that is pretty cool, and I love that scene. Then when he gets out of the water, it's almost like he's born again. It's almost like baptism under fire. Like when he gets out of the water, the old David Dunn is dead. He's gone. This is a new character, a new superhero. And the music by James Newton Howard like really rises. You really feel it. And I love that. And then when he shows up back upstairs again, and the crazy guy in the orange suit he's basically drinking water and spitting on this girl. And it's brutal. Because you know what he's going to do to her. And so David sneaks up behind him, gives him the old chokehold. And I love that. And he does not let go for anything. And if you can imagine Superman putting a bear hug or a chokehold on someone, that is unbelievable. And the stunt work was great because it's basically one shot where you see Bruce Willis bouncing off the wall, holding on to this guy for dear life, until finally the bad guy collapses on his knees and gets choked out. And it's awesome. Great scene. Love this movie. I can't say enough about it. If you haven't seen this yet, you need to rent or watch this or buy it on Blu-ray, 4K, whatever you want. I think it's an awesome one. I give this movie a 10. Ooh, 10 out of 10. Amazing. So again, if you haven't subscribed yet to this movie channel, please subscribe to it. Click on the bell. Anytime I'm reviewing a movie, having a trailer reaction, a live reaction, or anything like that, you'll get notified immediately. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it.